Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another matchup of the Link to the Past Randomizer Fall 2019 tournament. We have a bit of a rematch here. We have NYRambler versus Hacksaww. Pretty much the tiebreaker matchup of Group N, seeing who can snag the last place for the bracket stage in this group. I'm one of your commentators, Slim Kirby, joined by Synac, the one-man programming Sahasrabot for evil. Welcome to the call, man.
Sahasrabot has no concept of good or evil. It just does things.
We'll see based on this seed, I guess.
So we've got Rambler versus Hacksaww. This is game one. Standard setting, 7-7, defeat Ganon, all of that normal things. This is actually a rematch. They actually met each other in the first round, with Rambler winning 2-1, and then facing off Gem and then getting 2-0'd. Hacksaww went to the losers round one, fought against Runispism, won 2-0, and now both Rambler and Hacksaww are back. The winner of the series is going to go onto the brackets, and the loser is going to go home. So, you guys ready to rando?
I'm ready as you are.
Flute.
Oh, wow.
Mirror
and Flute in the first two chests of both Sanctuary and Link's House, respectively. That's pretty interesting. I mean, they'll both more than likely get those items regardless, but yeah, both really great items to find, especially this early on.
Yeah, Rambler's going to be able to activate that flute pretty quickly. It might be a little bit of time before Hacksaww saves and quits back to Link's house and then realizes that, yeah, I get to walk back to CAC a second time.
Yeah, that's true. We'll have to at some point go back to activate that flute, which will give Rambler a bit of an advantage, just kind of that early light world navigation. So definitely a good start for him.
By the way, I totally missed what Rambler saw on May's race, but he's skipping it, so it must not be important.
Yeah, and he has a bomb too, so yeah, that must have not been super important. Nothing wrong with that.
Moon Pearl.
Okay, another good find for Hacksaww. And inside the tavern, we got, well, bombs, not a progressive item, but good to have, especially this early on. So, and Hacksaww finds them as well.
Bombs for days.
Bombs for days, indeed. So yeah, as you were saying, these two, this is game one of their rematch, but this also means technically this is a game 4, and yes, I did see that hammer in Chicken Hut. My gosh.
Am I allowed to call it a Stacker Rico yet, or do we have to wait a little bit longer?
I mean, hammer's pretty big. I'd say that gives it almost a good enough for a Stack Rico definition. But yeah, technically this is the 4th game between these two. They had game 3 the first time they met up, so this is technically the 4th time they're racing each other in this tournament, and they're both pretty equal, I'd say, on par for sure. We get some rupees here in Blind's hideout. Going to look and see what's in the back now.
Just $100. And I didn't quite get that chest.
Yeah, getting a small bit of stuttering from Rambler's screen, but we'll be able to see what's going to be on there from Hacksaw's stream, at least.
And all right, that was just a piece of heart.
Almost wondering if the bottle vendor is also going to give that, or maybe Rambler didn't even get enough rupees to even check that.
Alright. Yeah, there was just junk for the two chests we didn't get to see. So, bottle vendor? I guess a piece of heart.
Guess it was a piece of heart.
And now they're just gonna go ahead and just give themselves a high five and.
Yeah, entering from two different paths in Kakariko, they'll definitely be just kind of following each other's footsteps in kind of an opposite direction here.
I mean, technically, I think the only thing that we found that was actually useful inside Kakariko Village was the hammer. So I think I'm just gonna go with a hammer Rico.
Hammeriko works. Yeah, that works for me. And since we found that Moon Pearl in the forest, like that's already 2/3 of our Dark World access as well. So definitely happy to be finding those this early on, definitely. And yes, as the chat is noticing, on one hand, we have Link trying to save Hyrule, minus the close, of course. But on the other side, we have Homer Simpson trying to save Hyrule. So, interesting canon. I don't remember that in the Hyrule Historia, but let's go for
# Rando Lord.
it. Yes, exactly.
And Hacksaww was like, why could I have not gotten that first?
Yeah, that is definitely a bit annoying finding that after you've already looted Kakariko of most of its items. But, you know, do what you can, move on from it. But Rambler is going to be using that flute to his advantage by immediately just flying straight to the dam here.
All right, and what is outside our dam? $20.
I mean, you've already got 2 of our Dark World items. The seat's probably like, okay, you guys gotten some good stuff already. Gonna put a little stop to that for right now. We do get our map check. Looks like we had 2 crystals on Eastern and Hera. I believe Eastern was also a red crystal.
Yep, and a pendant desert.
That seems fairly common, having one of the pendants and 2 crystals.
That bomb, like, so the bomb. Oh my goodness! So the bomb exploded, didn't kill the mini Moldorms, and I'm guessing maybe that kind of threw him off.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's like then you're like holding the bomb, like wondering what just happened, and then yeah, and then he died.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so weird. I feel like recently, and you know, and like obviously perception bias and whatnot, but I've seen a lot of instances of that happening, and of this recent version, where just sometimes mini Moldorms avoid the blast by just like going right through it. It's very strange. Game's weird sometimes.
So actually, so this actually is going to give Hacksaww the time he needs in order to basically go ahead and activate that flute that he ended up getting late.
Yeah, this is gonna put him about even there. So you know, it is always a shame when you kind of lose a little bit of time because of a death right there. But again, you just kind of need to move on from it and keep things moving. That hook shot's definitely, I think, going to be pointing up to Death Mountain. I mean, we have hook shot, we have the hammer. We can even go to Tower of Hera and finish that if there's no weird fire blockage. So yeah, could be the next play here.
All right, and some dark room times. Gonna use the hook shot as kind of like an echolocation device, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Feel your way around in here. There's a pit that you have to avoid. Otherwise, this is like a fair. Once you kind of memorize the layout of these rooms and get a feel for it, these dark rooms aren't too bad.
Yeah, definitely not. This is honestly the dark room I kind of recommend people learn first. Just because it does kind of give you that save and quit point at the very top of the mountain. And it's only 2 screens. And, you know, it's, again, like you said, just kind of feeling your way around, just kind of knowing where that pit's going to end up being, and then just kind of making your way out of it. And there,
out of logic gloves.
That's interesting. So that is the last item of our Dark World access. But yeah, as you mentioned, that is out of logic right now. Gonna need the lamp to put that in logic, but both of our runners obviously not caring too much about that because Old Man Cave's pretty quick to do without a lamp. Anyway.
I mean, we know that the lamp cannot be egg locked. Oh, oh my goodness! You see the Infinity Gauntlet there?
I did indeed. This is definitely an interesting play from Hacksaww, though. Is choosing to leave the mountain. Guess he really wants to see what's in the back of Escape.
All right, and we have pendants we have a green pendant at Swamp, another pendant at Skull Woods, and did you see the 5-6?
Yeah, Thieves Town was the other 5-6.
All right, Hacksaww. You're gonna go back to the mountain.
Yeah, again, I do find that very interesting. Maybe something to definitely ask him at the very end of the game in the interview. But yeah, is going back to the mountain. Only found the red mail. Wonder if he was just curious if maybe that had like something of note there.
You have access to all yeah, he's gonna. Hopefully, he goes back to the mountain soon because that mountain is definitely the play. I think without a fire source, I think Rambler is just going to go ahead and bail out of Hera. It must be fire locked.
Mm-hmm. Of course, he does have the hook shot, which means he could have done the glitch that is allowed in these races, the Hera pot. But positioning can be kind of awkward, especially if you don't have the boots, and maybe that's why he's kind of foregoing that at the moment.
Yeah, plus then you're also if you're having to do a Hera pot for a big key, you could easily run a situation where you end up orphaning the big chest.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like, well, the logic isn't expecting me to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go ahead and bail out. I'll probably come back later. It might be my 7th crystal.
That is true. That is, something that if you think you can make that work, the very rare 7th crystal Tower of Hera, so you can just, mirror right in front of Ganon's tower, take care of Hera, and then mirror back, and you're right there. That is always fun to do. It just doesn't always come up all the time.
I mean, unless you're doing a spoiler race, and then that's business as usual.
Yeah, of course. So we did find the Quake medallion inside the lower half of Paradox Cave.
So a bottle, that'll be nice. That's sick, kid. And a sword.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
All right, and Hacksaww is going to go ahead and sequence break these 2 waterfall fairy chests.
Nothing substantial, yeah.
So Rambler, he's going to be able to go to the Dark World, and there are 6 chests available to him: 4 in Hookshot Cave and 2 in Super Bunny.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's going to be doing right now. Also going to get the intel of what Turtle Rock is going to be. Going to be hoping it's Quake because, hey, I just found that. May as well open that up so I don't have to worry about going this way again. But we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, can't do too much in Turtle Rock except
No.
stare at the entrance.
Yeah. If only hint tiles were available in these tourney seeds, because then you could also read the hint. But not going to be doing that. And not going to be opening Turtle Rock either. It's either...
Hacksaww, go up north.
He must really think Death Mountain's like such a bait for him right now or something. Again, we'll have to ask him about that later. Because there is a lot of stuff he can do in the Dark World as well. It's just unfortunate could be a while before he gets a sword, so he can do some of that stuff.
So I think Rambler also found a bow. I think I saw that.
Yeah, he found
Pop up.
flippers too, from the look of it.
Yeah, this mountain is also really loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, someone in chat's already pointed out we have Swamp Palace Green Pendant access currently. It's not the greatest prospect with only a fighter sword and no boots, but, you know, it's something. Rambler seeing what's on the desert ledge, just 10 arrows, then I'm going to go back and also check out the mire area. We'll also get the intel on this medallion as well. Okay, looks like both Turtle Rock and Mire have their medallions swapped today. It looks like Mire's going to be Quake.
And there's a blue cane and a bottle in Mire Shed.
Man, Rambler is just finding all the items today.
Yeah, all we can really hope for is that Hacksaww decides to go up the mountain. I mean, like, right now he knows he has Paradox Cave open to him just with his current loadout.
Right.
So, plus a crystal dungeon. Potentially.
Could be a thing where maybe thinking that he might need that fire source in order to you know, clear Hera, so might want to grab that before going up there. I honestly do not know.
Yeah, so like every minute that he spends not in Death Mountain.
I mean, there is definitely still some stuff he can do without, like, the sword, bow, and flippers. In fact, he's done a lot of those flipper stuff already by fake flippering. But yeah, just knowing what we know that's up there is pretty substantial, as he does find the mushroom here in Skull Woods. And because of his the way he did leave the mountain when he did, he also doesn't even know that the other glove is up there, which was, I guess, the logical first, or could be the logical first glove.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why he left it behind. Why he decided not, because he probably thought that. But then he's maybe he's like pressing the fact that maybe he sequence braked a bunch of stuff. Yeah, well,
that would be my only guess, honestly.
Yeah,
because yeah, with that Power Glove layouts, that lamp could actually be in a lot of different places now. It could be in a lot of different places.
Yeah, and it's, from our perspective, it's pretty easy to kind of see this for what it is. But from Hacksaw's perspective, he easily made a pretty reasonable play to make here. Just kind of going elsewhere, maybe like hoping to find mitts elsewhere, and then he knows that he can't I think he knows that the mitts can't be here, though. Right?
Well, again, like, I don't think he even saw the mitts
Yeah.
at all, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, based on where the other glove was at.
I think what it is just Hacksaww, you know, he got his Dark World access. Maybe that's just kind of what he wanted to follow for a bit. It's like, you know, oh, and there's the lamp, so...
Whoa. All right, so now he definitely knows he's probably not supposed to be here. Like, logically.
Yeah. We'd also get the ice rod on Catfish, I believe, so... That's a fun location to have things, wouldn't you say?
Oh, man.
And there's Samaria also in Thieves Town.
We'll just have to see how far this train takes Rambler.
Yeah, we do already know what's over here on Zora from Hacksaww checking in a bit earlier, so... You know, he's not going to get anything substantial with these checks. Meanwhile, Hacksaww is making his way through Thieves Town. Going to get a crystal at the very end of this train. To answer a question in chat, yes, you can beat blind without the sword. In fact, Hacksaw actually has 2 items that can beat blind. You can beat blind with the sword, with the hammer, with Cane of Samaria, and funnily enough, also the Cane of Burna also works. So, yeah, he is in a position where he can defeat blind and also just full clear this dungeon. Oh, and Rambler not having enough money for the chess game, just a few rupees short.
This is the blue boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. It's the boomerang we all should strive to be.
Oh, well, another unique item in Thieves Town. We have the shovel. Not progressive, but does open a location for us.
Also, it looks like our smart key is in fact locked in the big chest.
Yep, so don't need to worry about that. Blind, I think, is going to have our last item or one of the map or compass. I admittedly don't know what we found exactly.
And by the way, you're going to see a hammer blind. You could probably also do this with Samaria.
Yeah, you definitely can. I don't think Hacksaw's too worried because he does have red mail. Does have to be careful with the fireballs. They still take 1 heart of damage.
Yeah, don't mirror.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. You don't want to get blind off the cycle here.
2 hearts. 1. No! No!
He was so close to being able to detonate it, too.
F.
Looks like he is going to go back in and give it another shot, which, again, just need to be careful of those fireballs, because, again, 1 heart of damage, and Doesn't have a red shield either to block them, so does have to be pretty careful with that. Rambler will have a bit of an easier time because he does have Burna when he gets to the later phases. You can easily put that on if things get a little hairy, and also he has the sword too, which also helps. This is why I love using Kanasamari on blind. You can kind of keep your distance, throw the block at him, detonate it for another hit. It's a very versatile tool for sure.
Yeah, see, I think he just needs one more, or no, two more. There you go.
Yeah, there he goes. He was waiting for him to come down so he could just place that one block and get him on the downswing. Gets just the compass. We've gotten all the items from Thieves Town though, so time to see where Hacksaww is going to go next. If he's going to follow some of these items, if he is going to go back to the mountain, what is his next play going to be?
Yeah, he's gonna run. He's gonna be running out of options, or anything that's attractive.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he knows he's probably going to do the sweep here. I don't think he's checked Hype Cave, right? He went straight up here, so he's going to he's going to do this sweep here. Probably turn in the shovel, check Stumpy, check K45, probably make his way over to Hype Cave, and then he's going to be low on options.
Yeah, it would be a good move for him to kind of keep going around and make his way up to Catfish, because we do know the Ice Rod is there. He's actually bypassing that piece of heart, but he has red mail, so that's understandable. But yeah, looking at our crystals, Turtle Rock is a crystal, so getting that Ice Rod is important. Catfish is just one of those locations that it's so long to get to, and a lot of the times it gets kind of left behind in a lot of cases.
All right, so here's our Stumpy and shovel check. Stumpy just giving a big 20 like he usually does.
Man, last 3 items you found are pieces of heart, it seems like.
It's just sending all the love.
Yeah.
And I think without a bow, I mean, like, do you think Hacksaww would do bowless pod?
It's never a great option. You know, we do have the lamp, which does put a couple of those items in, potentially in logic, depending on the key layout and everything. But and you know, since we do have progressive bows now, there could always be a second bow in pod that's supposed to be our second one. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
All right, so he's continuing.
Okay, yep. No save and quit out, so well, he is going to be bringing out that mirror, though.
All right. He's going to flute into one.
Could be 1, could be 2 to turn in that mushroom. It's 1, so
It's
we
1.
are finally going back.
Yeah, he's... All right, so Hacksaww is back on the path.
Yeah, and he's actually going to be able to finish Tower of Hera as well while he's up here, so that's going to be another good thing for him. Kind of keep working on that crystal progression, while Rambler is going to be working on kind of getting these other kind of southern Dark World checks out of the way. And yeah, I think this is the first time he's seen that Power Glove or Mitts now up there, so...
Yeah, in a little bit here, you're gonna see Hacksaw's tracker just completely light up with stuff.
Mm-hmm. And looks like Rambler is going to be playing some archery, trying to get some rupees because he does not have enough for the digging game.
Oh no, he missed. He's missing.
He still needs to get at least.
Yeah, he's not gonna have.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
So he's down to 4 roops. So I think he's just gonna bail on this plan. I think he's just gonna do Smith Chain.
Yeah. Which isn't too bad. It was just a piece of heart in the dig game, so he's not missing on anything substantial. But that is going to be weighing pretty heavily on his mind, I'm sure. As a rando runner, you never want to leave anything behind if you're kind of in that close proximity. Well, we do have some nice checks right here. We have the hammer pegs. We have the blacksmith turn in, and we can also take in purple chest as well. We do get a shield inside hammer pegs. Rambler does not want it.
Say no bueno. All right.
He's
Rambler, where are you going? You gonna turn in the...
Apparently not.
He has mirror. All right.
Maybe he just wants to spend some time with the frog. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, yeah, he can't afford the item. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, you have to have, like, what, 5 rupees?
10 rupees.
10?
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Chad. I almost forgot.
Oh, my.
He could have still turned him in, though, because...
Yeah.
Depending on where rupees are, he might, like, be unable to enter certain locations.
Yeah, like, you just have to have rupees to claim the item, not turn it in.
Yeah. Now I'm getting horrible flashbacks to the Simpsons episode where Homer gets an obsession with licking toads. So it's like, kind of creepy to think about. Okay, so he did get 20 rupees, so he is going to be able to at least turn him in and get the item from here, so that's good. And looks like just a heart container from the blacksmith. Still do not have enough rupees for dig game, though, so we'll have to put that on hold at the very least.
So Rambler is going into Mire.
Interesting. I mean, he has everything he needs to complete it.
It's a crystal.
He obviously, Fighter Sword Vidi does not scare him the least bit. Mad props.
And powder off of Moldworm.
Oh, that's another check Hacksaww can do if he decides to do the Smith Chain. But yeah, Chad also making a good point in regards to why he's going to Mire. Obviously, the Eastern Pod area would seem to be a good place to go, but you do need money for Pod, and that's something Rambler's kind of lacking right now, so could be wanting to go some of these other locations, see if he can get some rupees along the way to make that option a little more valuable. But there's still Eastern, which you don't need money for, and still 3 items, and I don't think we've even seen Sahaswala's closet yet.
Nope. He's been completely bypassed.
Oh, and there is the... Oh, wait, we already knew that. Never mind.
Yeah.
For a minute, I was like, "Oh wait, is that the other medallion we need for turtle?"
Well, it is a medallion.
Yeah, it's a medallion we do need, just not the one I was thinking it was for a second.
Yeah, Hacksaw's gonna go ahead and loot all the stuff here.
So yeah, once he gets bow, I imagine Eastern and Pod would be a much more viable option for Hacksaww because he will have essentially everything he needs to complete both of them.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say that Rambler did find the big key north of the torch room.
It's not a bad place for it.
No, not at all.
It's nice, just relaxing spot. And there's our key to Turtle Rock.
Honestly, that's not too bad of a location for it. Because Meyer, I feel like, is kind of one of the last dungeons you'd want to visit, just in terms of item density. So, that'll prevent us from, going into Turtle Rock without potentially having all the items we'd need for it. So, not a terrible place for that Ether Medallion, for at least Hacksaw anyway.
I mean, do you think that after everything is said and done here, I mean, like, I could see him just doing the Pod Eastern Palace combo and getting that all cleared out on Hacksaw's side.
Yeah, I imagine that. I mean, it's 2 crystals. You still have to check out Sahasrahla as well. I think that'd be a good place to go.
Like, between both of our runners, we need to figure out where the Fire Rod is at.
Yeah, Fire Rod's definitely the big thing we need to find.
Yeah, and maybe boots.
Maybe.
We don't know the stat. We probably won't need them for desert, but...
Right, and there's always that, potential for the big key scare in GT. But yeah, Fire Rod's definitely the big one we're looking for. And for Hacksaw, the one thing Rambler, I think, does kind of have on Hacksaw right now is he does have that Ice Rod. And knowing where Ice Rod's location is, if you're rooting for Hacksaw, you're going to be kind of praying that he kind of goes over to Catfish before he goes to Ice Palace. That way he can take the Whirlpool from the Light World side to get right to Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's a fairly isolated location for Hacksaw now. Rambler giving us some good old bomb Vidi strats. These soften up the eyeballs. And then should be able to use arrows to kind of work the rest of them down.
Yeah, it does still need to be a little bit careful. Even though he does have blue mail, Vidi still hits pretty hard. Oh, he looks pretty surrounded right there.
It's 3 hearts.
Like the bombs, most of them.
The bombs did a decent job of softening these eyeballs. He needs to hold on to 8 arrows though.
Ooh.
1.
Oh no! Oh no, he's still good. He's still good. Oh, and he does have some potion. That's good.
Or bailed. All right, 11 arrows. 10.
Even if he has to do some sword spins, it's not too bad. And just enough.
There we go. And 8 arrows into Vitreous. And there we go.
Yeah, nice job on Rambler's side. Fighter Sword Vitreous is no joke. You even see some of the top players kind of getting a little stuck on that. So yeah, good job to him.
So, nothing really out of Sahasrah's closet. Hacksaw is going to go ahead and do the Pod Eastern combo.
Makes sense. But yeah, Rambler is still lacking a lot of cash, and I feel like that's kind of like affecting his routing a little bit because he's trying to, and from what we know he's not going to get anything like major off of the digging game anyway. But he's still thinking about Palace of Darkness. Yeah, he needs that money to get in there, and that would be the place he'd want to go to right now, I figure. And chat also bringing up another good point. Eastern Palace does have that room with like 90 rupees, as Hacksaww does find a sword upgrade inside Palace of Darkness.
The desert play. That's all I have to say. His cape.
He gets a cape out of it. That's not too shabby. Bet he'd probably want that, before Vitreous, but yeah, still, fighter sword damage is pretty minuscule regardless.
And then pair this probably in Nowagina out of bombs.
Oh my gosh, that's
That would certainly prevent you from doing Nagina.
Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna farm up money, maybe.
Yeah.
Buy bombs and then go back to Gina.
Or just do something else with these rupees.
Yeah. I mean, that's a 65 rupees. Probably also needs pod money too.
So yeah, he's gonna go back through here and do this a couple times. It is kind of unfortunate that he forgot kind of about the 300 that was on Zora Ledge. I mean, I guess the way he could figure it is like, I don't really want to go all the way back there just for that when I've already cleared out Zora and Catfish, but that 300 definitely would have helped. But he is going straight for Pod next in Eastern, so he is definitely on the right path now.
Have we had anything really come up in Pod? I mean, there's only
the sword upgrade is pretty huge, I'd say, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just not so far.
Fire Rod and our boots are still nowhere to be found. Like, the Fire Rod could end up being the equalizer here.
Because again, we got to point out, there is that one thing Rambler does have. Actually, two things now, since he has the Ether Medallion as well. But the Ice Rod is going to be a huge, huge thing. If you're a Hacksaww fan, again, you're going to want Hacksaww to find that Ice Rod before he finds Ether.
I mean, most times, like, so if you have access to both Pod and Eastern, you're having to do both. Like, it really doesn't matter at that point which one you choose. Just kind of just pick one. If you're close to Go mode, though, you might opt for maybe Pod, just so if you do manage to hit Go.
Yeah, Pod definitely has the advantage of having 2 more items than Eastern Palace, so, that's definitely a advantage that dungeon has. I'd almost say if you're close to Go mode, you'd want to, like, take your chances on Eastern first, because you kind of have to go through all the chests anyway. So if you get that last item, you can kind of, quote-unquote, Go mode Pod. It's really depends on key layout mostly, but, yeah, it's hard call. Hard call for sure. But yeah, if you have all your items already, it doesn't really matter which one you do first.
So, there is something that's open to us right now that has like 6 items in it.
Yes, you are correct. And I think there's even a 7th one on top of that with the dungeon reward as well. Sinak, how could you suggest Swamp Palace at a time like this?
Very easily.
Fair enough.
So, like, we're going to be running into a situation where... So, we don't have Bombos or Fire Rod for ice. So, ice is off the table.
Yeah.
We don't have a Fire Rod for Turtle Rock. So, it's very likely that Turtle Rock is going to be Fire Rod locked to a certain point. Plus, you have to have Fire Rod for Vitreous. Or not Vitreous, but Trinex. Dumb. Anyway, so what dungeons that leave us? Skull Woods, you can't do that. And you have Swamp Palace that has 6 items, plus 1.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very fair point. It is kind of looking like we are heading in that direction. We got all the items to access Swamp pretty early when you think about it. So yeah, that honestly wouldn't be a terrible play, as much as you don't want to dip into Swamp Pendant.
Oh no, like it's always like an unattractive option, but it might it could easily be bait.
Randomizer is built on unattractive options, so that's how this randomizer works so well. Why do we keep playing it? It's fun, whatever. Okay, so Hacksaww is done with Palace of Darkness. Moving on to Eastern Palace now. It seems like we did find half magic here inside Eastern, so that's one thing. You know, nothing major, but, you know, considering we are kind of on low swords right now, half magic not terrible to find. Can kind of make Vitreous a little better, can make Trinex a little better.
There goes Armos Knights. And Rambler is probably going to make his way into pod now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, discounting Pendant Swamp, where else could our Fire Rod kind of be at right now? I mean...
We could have a vanilla early Skullwoods Fire Rod.
Those are always a riot.
Yeah. Not so much for me. I always check Skullwoods early because I just treat it as like one kind of overworld check, because most of the dungeon is overworld anyway. So.
Oh, by the way, have we seen Sick Kid? Do you remember?
According to our tracker, Iceman, it was checked and it was nothing.
Okay, it was. All right. So never mind on that.
Also, thank you again, Iceman, for keeping those buttons freshly pressed.
And keeping my mind freshly pressed, too. Yeah, so Rambler has to go farm a few more bombs. It's kind of low.
Yeah, as people in chat are saying, though, pod is actually a good place for bombs. You can get like a couple under pots in very accessible locations, sometimes right before you get to a bomb wall anyway. So that's always a nice aspect of this dungeon. Oh, he did get a 8 bomb drop right there, so that'll kind of help his bomb situation a bit. Okay, so Hacksaww gonna take on the Armos Knights on his side now. Very nicely done. Ooh, he is bringing out that flute. That is potentially gonna put Catfish kind of out of the way even more.
Alright, and
Actually, hold on. He is going to 4. I wonder if this is going to be a pyramid bomb play. Then he can take the pyramid and Catfish along with it. That would actually be really nice. Or he could be doing your suggestion and be going to Swamp here too.
or yes, probably. I think. Let's see here. What do you decide to do?
He's kind of heading south. No.
Nope.
Okay,
All right.
this is pyramid bomb. So if he follows his path, he will get his ice rod. That'll kind of take that off the table as Rambler's advantage. But Rambler does have, Rambler's almost in a position where, he could just go up to the mountain, gamble on that fire rod being in Turtle Rock. Because he has to go up there to complete Hera anyway. He can't do anything in Ice Palace. That might be a potential thing he might consider doing after this.
All right. So, big bomb. Put big bomb in front of this big crack. You open it up.
Well, first we get a big explosion.
We do get a big explosion.
But do we get some big value on the inside? Just a heart on the outside.
Does the big fairy give us big value? I mean, it's money.
Big money.
Big money indeed.
Okay, so... Uh-oh, he is mirroring... Oh, wait, is this... Oh my gosh, Uncle Check at 51 minutes in. How about that? Yeah, I think this is going to be Uncle Cave and also the front of Escape as well. We have not seen this yet. So here's the thing, if Rambler finishes pod here and then decides to immediately go up to the mountain, and, Fire Rod happens to be in Turtle Rock, this could kind of swing the advantage a little back in his favor, while Hacksaw is kind of checking some of these Sphere 1 overworld checks.
I mean, we got to look at Hyrule Castle, right?
I don't think we did. We only looked at the back of it, I thought.
Yeah.
And yeah, chat pointing out that after he's done with this, he will mirror back because he has done the back already. So that will put him back where his portal is, so he can keep following that to the ice rod.
All right, just 5 rupees. No, so far nothing. And just a piece of heart. Nothing of value.
We are going to go ahead and take a look at that Dark Cross location, because I'm pretty sure we got the map, so...
And then hopefully a mirror out, and then he decides to make his way to Catfish. Now would be the time.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do it now, he's never going to do it.
Yeah,
or
and
that's for a while.
That's true, and on every single angle that is true, because literally there's nothing else in that area. The only thing that could kind of get that in his motion or in his mind is like if he does find Fire Rod or Bombos and wants to go to Ice Palace and decides to route that in with Ice Palace, but you know there's not a lot else. Nope.
He's fluting.
Oh no, he's fluting.
Oh
boy. It's always the Ice Rod. So yeah, this is going to be the Meyer play for Hacksaww. He will get the Turtle Rock medallion. But at that point, I feel like he'd be thinking about just checking Turtle Rock straight up. And yeah, just to confirm in chat, this is a Game 1 match, so we use the standard settings that we've used for qualifiers in all Game 1. So it's a 7-7 crystal, defeat Ganon, standard dungeon item placements. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. But the loser of this match will be able to make a toggle to change one of those settings to something else.
Yeah, and this is game 1 of a series. This is the third. So this is the loser. So this is the second round of the losers bracket of the group of 4. These two runners had faced each other in the first round as well. Whoever wins this series, this best of 3, goes on to the bracket, and the loser is unfortunately eliminated. So this do or die time.
Yeah, pretty much. As we mentioned at the beginning of the cast, Rambler was the one able to achieve victory during the first set of matches between these two. But Hacksaww wasn't too far out of it either. Made all the games pretty close and was able to take one game. That series did go to Game 3, so I'd say this could honestly be up to anyone in this case. So Rambler is going to be taking this big bomb to the pyramid. He's going to find that 300 rupee, be probably a little annoyed because he was really needing those rupees earlier, but at that point he should be good to go for the rest of the seed as far as purchases are concerned.
Alright, Hacksaww finds Ether Medallion. That is our key to Turtle Rock. And Bombos Medallion might be our key to Ice Palace, to be honest.
Like, at this point, we're looking at a potential we need to dip Turtle Rock to find Bombos to find Fire Rod in ice. That could be on the table here. We know that Fire Rod is not going to be on pedestal because Mothula is holding a pendant. So that is not going to be a thing. And by that extension, like, if it is Bombos on pedestal, like, we'd at some point get the Fire Rod anyway, so yeah, it's... I'm pretty sure pedestal is dead at this point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it can't be fire. Yeah. Being boots on pedestal, but wait, so wait, was desert wasn't boots locked though, or was it boots locked? I forgot.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was, but
Okay.
either way, it's only a 1.2 chance. Who cares?
Yeah, it's such a stretch. It's not even worth thinking about, to be honest.
Yeah, neither of our runners are thinking about that right now. So yeah, Rambler is making the pendant swamp play.
See,
well, Hacksaww using some bomb strats too, actually. But he's going to go in and do some sword slashes.
Lagtrius.
Yeah, Lagtrius, exactly. Oh yeah, because it was Rambler who found the cape, so... I believe that was in Desert Palace, so...
Alright. So, Pendant Swamp. You gonna deliver for us today?
Potentially. Again, 6 items plus 1 green pendant. Pretty good odds.
We were kind of running out of locations for some access, at least in the ice. So
yeah.
I mean, best case scenario is we get Fire Rod and we're in go. The second
Rambler would be in go anyway.
Rambler would be in go. The second best scenario is that we at least get Bombos and we can continue, and it's not, we got something to do. Worst case scenario is it's empty, and that would just feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Fire Rod could very much be in Turtle Rock. The key layout has to work exactly right. Like you have to get like small keys and the big key immediately. Or no, you have to get 2 small keys from the bottom chest and then the one in the chain chomp room, so that you can actually continue further on. Then the big key has to be in the vanilla big key chest. So you could get all the way to Laser Bridge without the Fire Rod, and Fire Rod could definitely be there. It's been in Mimic Cave before, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's just such a low chance that most runners don't even think about it until it becomes like a last location type of play. Or you're just like feeling really good.
Yeah, if you like have that gut feeling that, that could be what the seat's telling you, I guess it wouldn't hurt to check, because at the very least, if it doesn't work out that layout, you could be locked from Turtle Rock at the very beginning if you just don't get a small key. So it's not a terribly long check if that happens, but it can also just string you along too. So again, we'll have to see.
Yeah, what I'm scared about, like, for Hacksaww right now is he may opt to go into Turtle Rock also ice rodless.
Mm-hmm.
and that would be pretty disastrous.
Yeah, that is definitely what you don't want to see happen. I think this is going to be our first Skull Woods play.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's see if we have a vanilla fire. Or nope, never mind.
Aww.
You know, I don't think Hacksaw's done any of the like blacksmith chain yet. You know what? He did do Skullwoods already. I do remember that now. My bad.
And down goes Vitreous.
And there
Big
is
key.
the big key. And there's the green pendant.
Alright. How many items do we have left in Skull Woods?
I
Or
think
not
he went straight.
Swamp House.
I think he went to the back straight away, so I think he still
Mhm.
has big chest and something on the left.
Yeah, he's going back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the time that you don't skip left side swamp.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you are looking for only one item, but when also you might need another item to get in the Ice Palace, it's better not to skip something. And you have the big key as well, so it's like, more incentive to go back inside. Looks like Magic Bat is not gonna pay off today. Just 10 arrows.
Alright. Just some rupees.
So here we go, purple chest. I believe Rambler did not check this. I think he just checked the smiths and went on his merry way. But I think Hacksaww is going to do some other overworld stuff. If he follows this all the way to the right side of Dark World, that's going to be good for him.
Take the chest for a sightseeing tour here.
Yeah, the frog gets the sightseeing tours all the time, so may as well give the chest a time to shine. Well, there's some we haven't seen yet. A bow. Actually on top of Bumper Cave.
Alright. I think Hacksaww will go for it.
We only have Master Sword at this point, and Silvers would speed up, and that's not terribly long to get.
No, it's like takes 30 seconds, 45 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
Feels like. So that time alone will just get saved on Ganon, especially if you have to do Master Sword.
Yeah, we have Master Sword right now. I think that's the biggest reason to get them. They still have a lot of locations to check to get another sword, but just in case, it is a little bit faster. So with that, Rambler is done with Swamp Palace. Did not pay off much at all. But we do have that green pendant, so wonder if that's going to be his next check, or if he's going to go straight. He is going straight for the mountain.
Yeah, he's not pulling out the flute. It's only mean one thing: Spike Cave, Turtle Rock.
He still has to do Hera. He still has to do Hera, so he might do that, and then at that point he could think about checking Turtle Rock. Worst case scenario, if it's not there, he might get locked out early anyway, and he knows that it's not going to be in there, so...
Yeah, he's pulling out... Yeah, he's going to go up to Hera.
Okay, Hacksaw is doing Dark World Overworld. This is, I guess, at this point, the second closest check to Catfish, so he could make the swing around over there. Boots! Oh.
Toss. Boots. That's,
that gives us a couple of checks in this area even.
mhm.
Could put off Catfish a little longer.
Alright. Okay, Hacksaw, are you going to continue? He's going back in the portal. And he's continuing. This is good.
Okay, this is very good for Hacksaw. He will be heading over to Catfish, and he will be able to pick up the Ice Rod, the one piece that Rambler had that Rambler kind of had in his advantage. I'd still kind of give the advantage to Rambler just because he is on the mountain, and it's looking like TR could have that progression. But we'll see. I mean, we still have Bonk Rocks to check.
Yeah, and Bonk Rocks won't be too much time.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a save and quit, the sank.
Our Fire Rod could even be... Hacksaw could actually have the Fire Rod right now in that purple container that he's carrying behind.
Possibilities are endless.
I know.
Alright.
So now he's going to do this. He's going to float over to Purple Chest to turn it in. And we'll see where he goes from there. No, I don't think Hacksaw... I don't think either runner has turned in Mushroom yet. Or, according to this, I think... Do we get Mushroom in here? Because Rambler doesn't have it on the tracker.
Alright. Yeah, so he skipped Agina earlier. So he's going to go ahead and clean that up, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it was Rambler that skipped Agina. Because he didn't have bombs.
Yeah, he didn't have bombs earlier, so it could be here, for all we know.
Just a piece of heart, though.
That's boring. That's what it always is on vanilla. Okay, so this is going to be Bonk Rocks on Hacksaw's side.
And drum roll, please.
There it is.
My goodness, Hacksaw. Is he in go mode?
At this point, I'd say so. I think he's going to go to Ice Palace, work on that, and then, yeah, going to go to Turtle Rock afterwards. Meanwhile, Rambler checking out Spike Cave.
So despite Hacksaw's relatively slow item collection at the beginning, he's in really good shape now.
Yeah. So what Rambler has to do to get that Fire Rod, he needs to get back in the mindset of checking Dark World Overworld. He is going to have a Tempered Sword. That could also come into play as well, but he needs to work on Overworld stuff immediately. He needs to go to Graveyard Ledge, get the boots, and then go to Bonk Rocks to get his Fire Rod, and that's all Rambler needs to do.
Oh, wow. So, Swamp. Yeah, Swamp Palace. Pendant Swamp was bait.
Yeah, it was very big bait, unfortunately, for Rambler. And again, we got all 4 of those items very early. So, like, it was teasing Swamp Palace for a good part of this seed, and just unfortunately did not pay out here. And yeah, Hacksaww is definitely in go mode at this point. Even potential items needed for GT, like we have the boots now, so even that torch can't really come into play too much. Going to be go moding Ice Palace here. Then need to work on Turtle Rock, which you can't really go mode Turtle Rock. You can skip a few chests here and there, but you're still essentially working your way through the dungeon from the very beginning. So Hacksaww is going to be on his merry way towards the end. Rambler is going back to Dark World. This is probably going to lead him to that last item he needs to kind of get this last train rolling. But I think he is going to check Skullwoods first because he hasn't done this yet.
But that hopefully then should lead him to Graveyard Ledge. Yeah. And then and then Bach Rocks. That's the chain.
Yeah, he's only going to be able to do half of this dungeon without Fire Rod anyway, so won't spend a whole lot of time here. It is, unfortunately, time Hacksaww is getting because he's making progress right now, but still, Rambler's in the right area, so to speak, where he can start making his way over to Graveyard Ledge.
And that's the 6th crystal for Hacksaww.
Only one more to go, and that's going to be at Turtle Rock. I bet he's very, very thankful that he didn't decide to go for the gamble on Turtle Rock at this rate, because, that Ice Rod was getting pretty isolated. Obviously, the Fire Rod had a bit of an interesting chain to it, too, so it's good that he kind of stuck to doing overworld stuff. Okay, that's where the mushroom was. It was in it was in Skullwood. So I thought it was in Desert for some reason. No, that was the cave. Okay.
Same color. Similar shape. Dead Rock, please.
Oh, man. Man, the Dead Rock Police Department really stopping Hacksaww right there.
Yeah, those jerks.
Okay, so I'm going to open up Turtle Rock now with the Ether Medallion. We got Meyer. Hacksaww going to start working on his last crystal. At this point, I feel like the only thing Hacksaww would want to see is a sword upgrade, but he does have silvers. He's probably not going to go out of his way for any checks. Like, I don't know. He does have half magic. He could consider giving Laser Bridge a quick check, but he might feel that he's like really far behind with kind of how that early game was going.
All right, Rambler is making the right moves as well. It's going to be in go mode here really soon as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately for Hacksaww,
Uh-oh.
didn't
I think he can salvage this. Yeah, I think this is salvageable. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. But yeah, since Ramblers doesn't have the purple chest, he might feel more inclined to check Bonk Rocks right away.
Alright, and at the 1 hour 20-minute mark, Ramblers in go mode. Or the 1:19:55, I should say.
So yeah, with that, he's going to grab his flutes. He's going to go over to Ice Palace, finish that up. Gonna get some potions first. Nothing wrong with that. Ice Palace can be kind of nasty if you run out of magic, and even Cold Stare can be pretty rough too.
So Rambler has some ground to make up. It's not insurmountable, maybe, but it's going to take a little bit of work.
Yeah, it will. One thing that he will have kind of as his benefit is the Tempered Sword, which I think will definitely make up some time. The question is, will it be enough time? And, you know, like you said, he does have to kind of work for the rest of the seed. And of course, reminder that, you know, this is only game one, so no matter what happens in the seed, whoever does not get the win still has 2 more chances. They'll get to choose a toggle for game 2, so if there's something they feel really comfortable in, they can change it to that, potentially get a game out of that, and then there's going to be 1 more game after that, too, so if they happen to win that game, too. So, you know, still plenty of room for anyone to take this series.
I've seen. Seems like I'm gonna have to go and run some numbers on our choices, but it's really looking like 6-6 has been fairly popular. Same thing with the map compass shuffle.
Yeah, I've seen those two probably the most. I'm surprised I haven't really seen like a lot of fast Ganon, just because that is kind of a newer feature of the randomizer.
So map compass shuffle puts more focus on execution because you're gonna do a lot more dungeon diving.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be why it's kind of popular there. Like if you're good at dungeon execution, you have to do more of the dungeon. So that's
Right.
gonna help you out.
And likewise, you see a lot of runners who, you know, if they're against a very tough opponent, they might want to consider putting on 6-6 or not 6-6, but fast Ganon. Just because, you know, it takes out that Gen's Tower execution that usually kind of slows a lot of runners who are not as familiar with, like, no major glitches, speed strats and stuff. A lot of interesting ways you can kind of customize your experience for this tournament.
All right. And down goes... I think that's it. He's getting kind of trolled by Trinex here. Down to 2 hearts. He has to be careful.
think he has a blue potion
Alright.
at least.
Yeah, that's good.
And see, like, this is the thing, like, you know, Rambler will get a little bit of time when it comes to this boss fight, because Tempered Sword, honestly, is so much better than Master Sword for Trinex. So Rambler will get some time back, but again, it's a lot of work needs to be done. Let's just say that.
Alright, and down goes Trinex. Hacksaww is going to claim his 7th crystal. I think it's time for, some numbers, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is the time where chat's like, hey, let's post numbers, and, you know, let's have fun with numbers. We all love numbers here. In reality, it's for the Ganon's Tower guessing game. Just guess what numbered chest you think that big key is going to end up being in. 1 through 22. Doesn't matter, it's 8, sorry. I don't actually know, but I like picking 8.
Imaginary.
Oh, so you like picking imaginary numbers, okay. When will you program Sahasrabot to actually post a number in chat himself? Like, a random number every time.
You know, actually...
Oh my god, you have done that already.
That's a really cool idea. So I think once
okay.
Speed Gaming fixes the bot, I might, like, create a Sahasrabot account and just have... That'd be so cool!
Oh no.
So I can have it sub to Speed... I'll sub it to Speed Gaming, right?
I'm sorry, Chad. I got him started.
I sub it to Speed Gaming, and then I'll just have it guess a random number every time, like, the bot starts. It'll, like, look for the message that the game has started, and it'll just post a random number. We'll see how well that works out.
Okay. So we haven't found it in the first 2 chests. We did find 2 small keys, though, so... So yeah, Hacksaww going to the right side of Ganon's Tower first.
So check number 3, 4, 5, and 6 is just to be in a bottle. By the way, Slim, you're getting blamed right now.
Oh, I know. I blame myself, honestly, so it's fine. So number 7, just a red rupee. Not that that would have came into a major play anyway, because boots were required to get our go mode item anyway.
And there's our
There
big
it
key. So that would have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11?
11, yes.
All right. Congratulations, whoever guessed 11, I guess. Let's see here. I think I'm looking through here. Who was the first to guess 11? I see 11 from Cyclone. Geez, Cyclone. Seriously? You just like snipe it like that?
I mean, there were people who had answers before we even announced the game, so a lot of people were trying to snipe, I guess. But getting back to the action, Hacksaww is about to start climbing the Ganon's Tower gauntlets. Even though he's only working with Master Sword, he does have those silver arrows, which honestly I've found myself using quite a bit. He also has half magic, so he could even employ Fire Rod strats. So even with Master Sword, this shouldn't be too bad of a gauntlets. Definitely going to grab that full magic, though, definitely. Oh, I love when that room works out like that, where you just dash through and just hit the guy on the right.
You know, a well-executed gauntlet can be such a work of art.
It really is. Major props to anyone who can, at least do it somewhat cleanly and no major glitches, speedruns, because this is a pretty execution-heavy part of the game. A lot of enemy RNG. So yeah, it does look really good when it's done right. What also looks great is that Canis and Mario strat, which I still just absolutely love.
Yep, drop a block, let it go, swing at the last Wizrobe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice one cycle. It's easier than it looks.
Yeah.
Like the key is getting that Samaria placement correct. And what you do is you drop it to the side. So you saw that Hacksaww was facing left when he dropped it. That's really the key there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you also have to make sure that you're like going up early enough so you can hit that last Wizrobe. Because one thing I always do, and this is why I can never really do it properly, is I always like go too late, so by the time I'm up there, the Wizrobe had already vanished. So, just kind of have to be aware of when you place the block and like how much you're moving. Anyway, Rambler is working on the Trinex fight now. This should go a bit smoother than what it did for Hacksaww just because of that tempered sword. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to be, yep, already on the phase 2.
Oh, Moldorm, please. Just another spin here. One more after this.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
he's still working with Master Sword. There we go. Moldorm 2 down. Just have 2 bosses left to go. They're both right after each other, so Hacksaww in the home stretch here.
All right. Just a single.
Ooh, and I do not like layouts like this.
Yeah, it's a bit rude.
This isn't too bad, though.
It's double. That's 4 hits.
Nice. Okay.
There we go.
1, 1, 2, 2.
I mean, that's pretty good just for the layout that he got.
Yeah,
So,
that second layout is really, really difficult to capitalize on. So here we go, going into the Ganon fight for Hacksaww. With only Master Sword, he's going to have to do spin strats in order to actually do damage to Ganon here. Going to need about 12 spins in Phase 1 and Phase 2. Then it gets a little easier, less spins you have to worry about, and with Silvers, the last phase should not be a problem.
what is it? 24. I think it's 24 spins here.
I think it's only 12.
Is it 12 per?
Yeah, 12 per,
Okay.
24 for both, yeah. And looks like he has a good position here for... Oh, yeah, nice. Can even use the cape just so he can...
And I think he still has a spare green potion.
He might. He's not going to need too much, though, for the final, so...
Yeah, based on how he's using his magic right now, I'm suspecting that he has.
Yeah, I think he does, too.
Yeah.
I know he used a blue goo in the Trinex fight, but he might have had another one.
Yeah, I think I saw the... Yeah, there's this green.
Oh, he has a green, so yeah, he's fine.
Kind of made it through this phase.
So yeah, now it just needs 4 spins. Now just only 1 more since he's already very generous Ganon warps this time. Wow.
So it has to still spin Ganon, but we'll be able to get a freeze out. And it'll just be 4 silver hits. There's 2 of them. This could be a double.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think mirror.
I don't think mirror will work anyway. But
yeah.
Still, just make sure.
All right, everybody, get your GGs in chat for Hacksaww, the winner of the first game of the series. He's just across this bridge, and here he goes. And Hacksaww has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, 27 seconds.
Yeah, definitely well played from Hacksaww. Definitely a lot of places in the seed where it was getting a little worrisome that he'd get the items he needs, but was able to locate them at the very end and take victory in this game 1. So he will go into game 2 with a 1-game advantage on Rambler. We'll need only 1 more win to get into brackets, but he knows he faces a tough opponent. Rambler has beaten him before in the other series, so gonna need to bring his A game for that for sure. And I believe that sound is Hacksaww joining us in the commentary booth. GG on your win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. GG's.
Okay, so I have one question right off the bat. This is something that personally I was wondering about. What made you leave Death Mountain immediately once you rescued the old man? Because there was a lot of value on that mountain, and it was a pretty interesting play to kind of bypass that from the get-go.
I was kind of hoping for mitts. That way I could do it all on one trip. And it turned out mitts were up at the top of the mountain, so needless to say, the disappointment was heavy once I got up there.
Yeah, because Rambler did stay on the mountain, was able to get those mitts along with all the other items that were in kind of the East Death and East Dark Death Mountain area. And it was looking kind of scary for you there for a little bit because of that. And but you did manage to go back up there. You seem to have a pretty good strategy going into the later, kind of the mid part of the game, just kind of focusing on, crystal dungeons and stuff of that nature. And eventually came down to just needing Fire Rod and Ice Rod for you too, I guess. I guess kind of a similar question is, after you finished the front of Escape, what were you thinking in regards to not going to Catfish right then and there? Were you planning to route it in with Purple Chest when you got that, or?
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to leave for Purple Chest. I can't remember where I went after Escape, but Catfish is just, it's out of the way. It's only one thing, and there were still big groups of stuff I could go get.
Yeah. Speaking about big groups of things, what kept you out of Swamp Palace? Is the nature of it being Swamp Palace, or?
It's called Swamp, so I stay out of it.
Yeah,
I don't like that place. That's all.
Well, that's fair. That worked out tremendously for you, so good call on not falling for that, because they gave you all those Swamp Palace items like very, very early. Yeah, basically once you were done with the Death Mountain play, pretty much both of you had all the items for Swamp, so definitely a good call on not making that play.
Yeah, I realized I had all the stuff for Swamp. I hate Swamp, so I didn't go there. That's the only reason.
Oh, makes sense completely. Definitely understand that.
Oh yeah, I would have been sunk this race because I love Swamp. I'm in the minority opinion on this.
Yes, you are. But yeah, I bet it feels good to get that win. I know you got the game 1 win when you were facing Rambler the first time. And again, we'll ask him about the game change when he gets in here, obviously. But how you feeling moving into game 2? You think you could kind of change it up? Obviously, you two went 2-1 the first time around. Think it could shift to 2-1 in your favor this time?
I mean, it could. The first match was really close. I think all the games were within 2 minutes, so It wasn't like anybody blew anybody out.
Right.
So, yeah, pretty much anything can happen. It's just, who makes the right choice at what time. And I think Rambler went into Swamp and cleared that, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a big time sink of his in this seed. Also kind of struggled a little bit kind of in the mid game. Was very low on rupees for a good part of the seed, which kind of kept him away from Pod and some of the other overworld checks that he needed to make. But he did find the Ice Rod first, so that was kind of one of the things that we were like, oh, well, Rambler could have the advantage here if that catfish location keeps being left behind. But thankfully, when you got boots and you're kind of on your way to that location, you're able to kind of scrounge up that and find the fire rod right after. So that's pretty much how this went. And obviously, Rambler was able to find the Tempered Sword in Spike Cave as well, so that kind of gave him a little bit of time back after that.
Yeah, I mean, if that fire rod was in Swamp, he's the one that wins this by 6 minutes, not me. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, that at the start with running through Dark World with almost nothing, and then getting up the mountain and finding everything was kind of, I felt way behind at that point. And then I started picking up all kinds of stuff back to back to back. I was like, this might not be too bad. I'm really not sure. So just minimize chat and play to the best that I could.
Yeah, that's really all you could do in that situation, honestly. But yeah, it seemed like so much stuff was on East Death Mountain. Really, it was just kind of like the last 3 items you got, those were kind of out of the way. Obviously, the Turtle Rock medallion being in Mire was kind of out of the way, but since you were clearing dungeons anyway, you would have gotten that regardless. So, yeah, again, they gave you so much at the beginning. You guys were just picking up stuff like back to back to back.
Yeah, the choices were definitely there at the beginning, so.
And Rambler has defeated Ganon. He's about ready to cross the bridge, and we'll have his official SRL time here in just a second. And NYRambler has finished in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, 21 seconds.
GG Rambler.
Yeah, GG. Honestly, this was a very entertaining race to watch. It just kind of came down to when certain players would check certain things. And with that, I believe that is our second place finisher, Rambler, jumping into chat. GG to you and welcome. Tell us how you are feeling.
I am feeling like Pendant Swap was a mistake.
Yeah, it was. But, it honestly can't even blame you. They gave you all 4 items for Swamp very, very early. Like, you had to have thought that, like, they gave you those items for a reason, and then just ended up being nothing. Like, that was insane.
My thought process was the overworld, if you combine with the light world and the dark world combined, the overworld gave you so much, especially since it got Ice Rod so early. I was literally fire rod away from go mode at 35 minutes. So I was like, let me do the dungeons because the fire rod's probably in it. The item I was hoping to find was actually Bombos, because that meant more than likely fire rod would be an Ice Palace. But it turns out the boots were in a spot I very rarely check, and the fire rod was right next door with boot slot. And Hacksaww found him for it. That's how it goes. That's Randomizer.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, you mentioned finding the Ice Rod early. That Ice Rod was like your biggest advantage for a long time because Hacksaww didn't get the Ice Rod until after he got the boots. Actually got the boots while he had the purple chest. He went over to Catfish right afterwards, got the Ice Rod, turned in purple chest right after that, then started to sank to find the fire rod. So, that Ice Rod was definitely keeping you in the game for sure, especially as the locations, like he was kind of like almost in a sense isolating that Catfish check. So you definitely had a pretty significant advantage for quite a bit. And of course, you also found the Tempered Sword too, which is obviously always welcome to find and have in these runs.
Yeah, my only hope was going in because I figured when I couldn't find Fire Rod for a whole 45 minutes, I was thinking that maybe he last location Ice Rod. Maybe he did find Ice Rod, but didn't find a Tempered Sword or the Cape. Turns out he had the Cape, so he didn't have too much trouble again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also noticed that you had quite a number of money issues, kind of in the mid
Yeah,
game as well. That
I
was
was
kind
I
of
was
the
mentioning it to
upside.
Hacksaw that after I did I got the ice rod, then I did the Zora area check, and I was like money starved. I was like, all right, let me do Thieves Town. Left Thieves Town, still no money, and it sent me on a weird trek where I couldn't do really anything I wanted to. I wanted to do pod, I couldn't do that. I wanted to digging game, I couldn't do that. So I wound up doing Mire, which I didn't want to do at the time, but I did it, and I was still money deprived. So I went to the desert thief area and farmed $100 to go do pod.
Yeah, the seed was definitely not cooperating with you on that at all. But again, you made it work. A bit inconvenient, but you definitely put on a good showing. Again, just kind of came down to randomizer going to place things, and at some point, one runner is going to choose the right thing, and the other runner is going to choose the wrong thing. But you definitely kept it interesting. So good job on that.
Hopefully, the next two go the same way that our first round matchup went, because Hacksaww beat me game one, and hopefully I'll sneak the last two out and get into brackets. But Hacksaw's a great runner. Me and him have raced a ton of different races over the past 2 years. I looked it up on SRL. We've raced each other a lot of times because we're both East Coast. We're both, I'll say we're more mature. I'm not going to use the O word. We're both mature. So we work busy schedules, and our best time to play is 9 o'clock SG races. That's where we probably placed the most, and that's why we're racing at 9 o'clock. We're used to this.
Yeah, exactly. And I will admit, I'm old.
We're mature. And if anyone in chat calls us boomers, I'm going to time you out. I'm a mod. Remember that.
Okay, well, since we were kind of talking about that game too tomorrow, what are you choosing to toggle for that game?
So the last two times I toggled Fast Cannon. I don't know yet. I was thinking about it. It's gonna be probably either Fast Cannon or a Shirt Sword, one of the two. I'm probably leaning towards Fast Cannon again. It's just a mode that I prefer, because the GT climb is something that I don't mind it. It's just that I don't see it as a necessary part of the game, and it allows me to do things like route Turtle Rock earlier if it needs to be routed. So I prefer Fast Cannon. I know Hacksaw. If I win, he's going to change it right back. I know that that's what he did last time. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that is true. If you win, I will change it right back.
Well, definitely best of luck to both of you on the rest of the series. It's a very entertaining race to watch, and you two definitely seem very, very close in skill. I mean, you guys have had 4 games in this tournament so far, and with those 4 games, you are now 2-2, so it definitely shows a very equal skill. Honestly, I could see this going either way, so best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. And honestly, these are the matches I enjoy the most, where it's this close and it can go either way. It's more fun this way, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Now I'm going to go restart my computer so I don't drop any frames tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good, man. So before we kind of start closing out, did you have anything you wanted to add, Sinek, before we kind of start wrapping this up?
I'm looking forward to game 2. It's gonna be a spicy series.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. If this was any indication, definitely. Like we said, tomorrow's race will be happening around the same time. So if you want to come back and watch that, not sure. Let me actually check the schedule really quick. There is not currently a restream scheduled for Game 2, but that could always change. Either way, should be going live around the 9:30-ish mark, so if there's a restream, check it out. If not, you can always use a multi-stream client and watch both channels. We'll go ahead and get a link to both of the runners on there, so you could potentially watch those. Also, consider giving them a follow for putting on a great show today. It was really fun to watch. Also, major thank you to our tracker for this race, Iceman. Seriously, buttons always seem pressed when they needed to be pressed, and everything was up to date, so thank you for a good job on that front. And of course, thank you, Sinak, for joining me on this commentary. It was a lot of fun, really fun race to watch, and really fun race to call with you.
Yeah, it was really fun. You guys are great runners. I'm looking forward to seeing your next performances.
Okay, so with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and get ready to stop here. There aren't any more races tonight. This was actually the last one, but there is one tomorrow morning at 11:20 a.m. Humbug versus GFE 12. That is game 2 for them. Once again, there isn't currently well, there might be actually. Let me refresh just to make sure. Oh, there actually is a restream, so that'll be tomorrow on Speed Gaming 1 at 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Come back if you want to watch that. So, yeah, with that, I am Slim Kirby. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next time for more Randomizer.
Good night.